golden rays of the early morning sunrise blanket a unique Central American rainforest. Animals awaken to an eerie familiar sound of a male howler monkey defending his territory. The sound arouses a mother margay and her young from a deep sleep high above the rainforest floor. Larger jungle cats stir. Many endangered species live in this forest. It is one of the richest and most diverse tropical rainforests left on Earth. Recently, a very important bird was discovered, the largest raptor in the Americas, the harpy eagle. This powerful, awe-inspiring bird has changed the lives of local villagers which rely on the forest as a resource.
The harpy eagle turned my life around from being a hunter to a protector.
I am really happy with this bird. This bird is one of the more important things in this jungle.
Harpy eagles are top predators and need a large amount of forest to survive. So where is this forest? In the small Central American country of Belize lie the Maya Mountains. Close to 2 million acres, it is now considered the largest continuous expanse of tropical forest north of the Amazon. At its heart is the Bladen Nature Reserve, 97,000 acres of undisturbed and virtually unexplored tropical wilderness. The last remnant of a forgotten time, shrouded in mystery, much still to be discovered. It provides global environmental benefits such as clean air, carbon storage, and the preservation of genetic diversity for future medical and biological research. The Bladen Nature Reserve serves a critical role in watershed protection. It provides clean, continuous water to downstream local communities and large agricultural areas on the coastal plain. The pristine waters of the Bladen River flows into the Caribbean Sea without damaging the fragile Belize Barrier Reef. Clean water is the source for all living things. Water is also the carver of caves in the karst limestone hills of the Bladen. Unusual species are found here, and countless bats make it their home. The ancient Maya lived in this valley and used the caves for their rituals. These caves were the entrance to the underworld, where priests communed with their ancestral spirits by leaving offerings. In 1990, the government set up the Bladen as a nature reserve, but a lack of resources and management failed to prevent continuing exploitation. In 1995, the Belize Foundation for Research and Environmental Education, Be Free, established a biological research station at the gateway to the Bladen. There was a need to develop management and conservation programs to protect and conserve the area. Facilities were constructed and programs established to meet the needs of scientific researchers and educational activities. Nestled in the rainforest, the accommodations are comfortable, and Be Free welcomes all types of visitors. Be Free attracted scientists and hired knowledgeable local residents to work with them and teach visitors about the importance of this forest and its inhabitants. The presence of Be Free and its activities had a positive impact, and the exploitation of the Bladen began to decrease. The word got out, people started to know we were back here, and because of the kinds of things we were involved in doing, working with the government to try to establish management and protection of the reserve, and that type of illegal activity slowed down. I think the only way that the Bladen is going to be conserved in perpetuity over the long term is to have local community members feel ownership, take pride in the reserve, and they're going to do that by participating in its conservation. It's their backyard, and if they don't protect it over the long term, no one's going to do it. Much of the Bladen was unexplored, and in 2005, a team of Be Free staff and scientists conducted an expedition into a remote area of the reserve. One of the members of the team was Jacob's 10-year-old daughter, Sophia, who, along with other members of the team, spotted a huge bird. Photos were taken and sent to experts, and much to everyone's surprise, it was identified as a juvenile harpy eagle. Jamie Rotenberg, an ornithologist on the team, was exploring the area to develop a research project to study both local and migrant birds. He was inspired by what he found and identified a tremendous diversity of species.
It's a monitoring and research project for the bird community here in the Belize Nature Reserve and here at Be Free.
So Jamie wanted to do this long-term bird study. I wanted to find a mechanism to get local people involved in the conservation of the reserve. And for me, it was a way, maybe we can get the local people trained up to be these ornithologists, these people that study the birds, instead of bringing down scientists. So we use the harpy eagle sort of as a flagship species, as a way to attract funding and attract attention, because once the word got out, people were very interested, especially since we had pictures and we documented it. So Jamie and I started to develop this idea, and we developed a proposal and a project that we called a community-based harpy eagle and avian conservation program for the Maya Mountains. The Nature Conservancy liked the idea, so they funded the project. We brought down 3 different interns that were very experienced bird banders from the States, and they came down for months and months at a time and sort of helped train our local Belizean staff. Get them trained in how to handle birds, do mark recapture, mist netting, banding, bird identification, to become parabiologists or avian technicians.
When I first started here with the birds, I didn't know anything about them. The only thing I knew was shooting curassows and crested ones. But then after the second year, I saw that it was a really cool thing to do. I was making a living out of it. So that's how everything started. Just being here with Be Free, it turned my life from being a hunter into a birder.
As soon as I joined Be Free, I started to change a lot, especially now I have learned a lot about the conservation.
Really interested in conservation from when I was younger. I came up with this job at Be Free. We started to ban birds and doing educational outreach. If we take back this information, then the local villagers will have a better understanding what is happening. Harpy especially, because this is the first record we have in the Belize Nature Reserve so far.
3 local staff were hired and given extensive training. After 3 years of mastering skills, they took over the bird project and became parabiologists. They worked 22 days per month, 7 months of the year, studying the migrant and resident bird community as well as looking for harpy eagles. The work was exhausting, climbing hillsides and camping out in rough terrain for weeks at a time. But it paid off. Over time, they began to spot harpy eagles and documented their locations.
It was like finding gold in the river.
After going into this project, going on years and years, you find out, oh wow, there's a harpy, Then that makes me feel very, very happy.
In 2008, after the management program for the Bladen was well established by Be Free and other stakeholders, Yaxche Conservation Trust was given co-management of the reserve by the Belize Forest Department. Additional rangers were hired and the important work continued. Yaxche's primary goal is to conserve natural resources and empower local communities by fostering sustainable livelihoods. Be Free staff and scientists, along with Yaxche rangers, searched systematically for more harpy eagles in hopes of finding a nest site. Large trees were identified that could support a nest. The trees were measured, tagged, and appropriate data was collected. The group split up, some teams searching from the ground while others observed from mountaintops. As the week passed, the team was getting tired and started to lose hope. During the second week, the Be Free avian team finally found a pair in one of the large trees and radioed the rest of the crew. They watched them intensely for many hours. They were able to get, I think, 13 and a half hours of observations, including watching that pair mate twice. Our methods worked and we found the first mated pair of harpy eagles in Belize ever. Very exciting.
As the years continue in the reserve, we were lucky enough that we discovered a harpy eagle nest. We have spent 90% of a lot of our time monitoring this nest along with the chick and the parents.
Harpy eagles like to build their nests in the crowns of tall trees separated from the surrounding canopy. In order not to disturb the pair, the team sets up an observation point over a quarter-mile away. High-powered scopes were used to make detailed observations of their behavior.
This powerful scope is just makes everything easier for us. We can zoom in into it in far distances, and we're gonna see really clear.
Right.
That's the nest, yeah. Down there, that's the nest, yeah.
We're actually hooking up a small digital camera so that we can take photos directly through the scope. It's called digiscoping. This is a new adapter that we're going to be using today to get some great photos.
With protocols and equipment in place, the first record of wild harpy eagles in Belize was recorded. The team observed the chick calling after hearing a parent nearby. It knows that much needed food is on the way. The female presented prey to the young. The team was able to list the food items the adult birds brought to the nest. The team saw the male nearby. Both parents tend to the chick. The adults care for the young until it is over a year old, well after the chick has fledged. Feeding the young is never done. The adults must constantly be searching for food. It takes 3 to 4 days to return with the next prey item. Prey items observed during the project included a wide variety of animals such as monkeys, iguanas, quadrumundis, and opossums.
Jumped. She might be thinking about flying off. She's just on the edge of the nest right now.
Raising only one chick every 3 years, the adults invest a lot of time and energy into their offspring.
I'm happy being a part of the crew here. This discovery for Belize, I'm really happy.
Harpy eagles are the largest raptors in the Americas. They have a wingspan of over 7 feet. The females are larger than the males and can weigh up to 20 pounds. Males can weigh up to 17 pounds. They can stand over 3 feet tall. Their 5-inch talons are larger than bear claws, and they have powerful legs to subdue and carry their prey. Harpy eagles' range is from southern part of Mexico through Central and South America, but much of their habitat is being destroyed. Large-scale unsustainable clearing of tropical forests for raising cattle, logging, and agriculture is causing severe land erosion and flash flooding. Rivers overflow their banks and landslides destroy towns and villages, causing great human hardship. Illegal activities from Guatemalans and bad land use practices within Belize are encroaching close to the Bladen. Do we want the Maya Mountains and the Bladen to look like this? Because this is what the future will hold. So it is important to keep the integrity of these forested areas. The presence of the harpy eagle lets us know that this forest is still intact and that it must be protected. The Be Free Avian team is back on track, and after observing the nest site for 6 months, it is time to do another outreach program to keep the public informed. They go to the Belize Zoo to see Panama the harpy eagle, the ambassador for the species in Belize.
Be Free, the Belize Foundation for Research and Environmental Education, has done an incredible job in bringing the children from the fringing communities to the zoo to meet Panama and to see exactly what they have living in their forested backyard. It is great.
William teaches the local children about their work in the Bladen.
Every movement we record it. She have just call, so we record call there, and we usually count how many times. So right now she is looking down, so that's 5. And this information is gonna be put together, analyzed, and we're gonna write a paper about these harpy eagles in Belize.
It's amazing for me to hear that the nest of the harpy eagle is in that place. This is the gift from God, because God gave us a lot of animals so that we can take care of the animals as well. Be Free, they're doing a very excellent job for the village of Medina Bangat and surrounding area. So.
The harpy chick is now a young fledgling, and the team has to decide whether to continue the study or to leave it alone. With the permission of the government, Be Free and Angel Mula, an expert from the Peregrine Fund, are going to place a satellite transmitter on the juvenile to collect additional data.
I'm hoping to catch it, which will be the quickest, cleanest thing to do.
Waiting for the opportune time, when neither of the adults is present, he climbs the nest tree. The huge nest is 80 feet off the ground. The bird is perched on a branch, watching Angel climb with a cautious eye. Her wings are developed and she flies off the branch. Angel and team rapidly get to her as she safely lands on the ground. They carefully capture her and strap on the satellite transmitter.
It's important because it's northernmost nest found in the current Harpy Eagle range. This is the first one for Belize. Making sure that the transmitters is nicely installed.
It's a very special moment in my life.
Angel climbs back up to the nest and the bird is pulled up to him. He places her on the nest and takes her head mask and cloth away to free her again. He quickly climbs down and the bird is comfortably sitting back on the nest.
Putting a radio transmitter on these wild birds, I think is a very important thing to do because it will allow us to monitor the movements of this bird. We will be able to tell for how long it stays with within the parent's territory. It's the only way to do it. The satellite transmitter will get us a GPS fix every day. From the remote location, we can only tell whether the bird is moving or not. The ground monitoring transmitter. With that unit, we can go into the forest and track the bird as it's moving from tree to tree.
A harpy lands in the classroom of a local school, spreading the word about its home.
So why are harpy eagles very important? I want two words. The balanced nature, but the environment is the same. This village here, Trio Village, is located very close to the Belize Nature Reserve. We have been getting the villages involved in environmental education. This was one of my passions, especially in my village. And now joining with the Belize Zoo and passing out the information about harpy eagles and conservation. So it's really great for them because they can go back to the parents and actually inform the parents about harpy eagles. They can actually be the messengers.
Their faces light up when they see a 6-foot harpy eagle walking into the classroom. It brings out their emotions. The message you're trying to get across to them has a greater impact. It's more animated, so that's the reason we do our harpy eagle costume for the conservation work.
After 5 or 6 months of monitoring this young harpy eagle, the adult female, which was the one predominantly feeding the chick, seemed to fly off. The fledgling wasn't being fed.
She haven't fed for 22 days. She was very, very thin. We said, oh wow, we need to feed this chick immediately.
So we started bringing chickens from Bee-Free's field station all the way up to where these harpy eagles are. It's at least 8 or 10 hours walking.
As soon as we set the chicken, she immediately jumped on the chicken and they start feeding.
They've also had to chase away predators like ocelots from attacking and killing the young harpy eagle to basically parent and care for this harpy eagle while its parents weren't around.
I just feel like I will never leave this harpy alone. I just need to be there for her, whether the parents are there, whether they're not there, but I will be there to make this harpy alive. This harpy eagle was developing her muscles, is getting stronger, she's exercising her wing, she's going up higher.
After 5 or 6 weeks of us feeding the juvenile on its own, the adult male has returned and is now feeding the chick. Back on track, the harpy is now being well cared for and we're all really excited.
It's pretty safe and it's healthy. I feel very happy because by seeing the adult again, it makes me feel a relief.
Now that the parent is back feeding the young eagle, the team leaves the area as the rainy season sets in. But the satellite transmitter sadly only worked a short time and then failed. After 6 months, they are able to return and learn the fate of the juvenile and its parents. Using the VHF transceiver, the team attempts to locate the young bird but could not find her. Eventually, she is found deceased due to unknown reasons. The team was heartbroken, but continued the bird project and within 2 years were delighted to find 2 new nests. One nest had a fledgling from the original pair. This majestic eagle has changed the minds and hearts of the local people. Their hard work has not been in vain, and proves that the Belize Nature Reserve is indeed a very special place.
This jungle, it's virgin jungle, you know, there's anything that you want to learn about, you can just go there and you can find.
So the harpy eagle sort of symbolizes hope, symbolizes the importance of continuing to keep these protected areas in their current state, places like the Belize Nature Reserve, for the future.